And we're live. Oh, I forgot something. So, here we are. Thank you for being here, both of you. Ready for the cheeky stream is Otaku Shogun. And good morning from Louisiana, USA, from Patrick Smith. Patrick, we are on, yes. And thank you for becoming a patron, Patrick. Really appreciate it, as well as your continued support here on the channel. Today is not actually my birthday, it was yesterday, but this is the closest I could get. And I must tell you, it is super hot in this room. It's outside it was 29 degrees today, and now it's 29 degrees in this room as well. I don't know what's that in Fahrenheit, but it's too hot. John says, hi Johannes, hope you had a good birthday this week. Are there any special birthday customs in Japan? Good question. I don't know. At least in my family there are not. I think it's like, at least not special to me. So we give presents. And we may do something out of the ordinary, and that's all I know of. I don't know if there's anything special, like you have to give something for your colleagues or so. Some people do that, but mostly people don't share their birthday so professionally, I think. I mean, of course, I know of my team because I can see their data and so on, but between them, they, I think, don't know necessarily. So nothing special, I think. Now today, I have been to a small town called Narayuku, which is a post town. That means it's a post town on the Nakasendo. Nakasendo is was one of the main trails connecting Tokyo and Kyoto in the Edo period, so about 400 to 200 years ago. And that's one of the towns there. So it was, back then it was important because it was on the way there. It was very exhausting. It was just before the most exhausting part of the trip. That means many people stayed there. And it has preserved a lot of this Edo period style. There's like one road, 1 kilometer, in which most of the houses are still in that style. And that's where I went. I tried to make a video. It didn't work, but something good happened from that, and I will talk about that more later. Now let me see what you wrote. Patrick Smith is glad to help. Happy belated birthday. Can you open a window? Thank you, Patrick. The window is already open. It's here. Here. So my neighbors may be able to hear me. And yeah, really appreciate it. And Adelina does this one the other way around. Poof. Now, before we continue, it's really hot in here, so I will have a cool drink here. I ordered this one this week. It's a German beer, nice and cool. Very welcome. John stayed in Narai a few years ago. Wow. Great place. Walked a little of the Nakasendo to the next town. Nice. I was also considering that, like to walk, maybe not that part, but some part. Like 8 kilometers or so. But not this time. And as I said, I will talk more about it later, in a minute. For now, let me quickly pour. Hi Dani, thank you so much. Cheers. Almost done here. It's a tough one here to make this look nice. Because actually not enough for this glass, but I think this time, we'll see it in a second, it worked out well. Whoosh. Hola. Perfect. I don't know what's it called in English. In German it's the crown. Die Krone. Prost. Cheers. Kanpai. Thank you, Daniel. Good morning. Good to have you here again. I saw you in Dogen's live chat. Livestream, live chat. The other day. Happy birthday. Thank you, Susanne, Mama. We call it the head. There's the foam at the top. I see. So the head. It looked nice. Now it's almost like it's almost non-existent already. Happy birthday from Otaku Shogun. Thank you so much. So I made a purchase at Narayuku today. This. For me. Also some presents for the kids and the family, for my wife. But this for me. What do you think it is? Sanket Umbraika, thank you so much. So I will show you in a second again. Just let me know how you're doing, how your week was, where you're from if I don't know yet. Things like that. And I will, in the meantime, have a sip of water. Danke, Mosquito Man. Thank you. Patrick thinks it's a tin of caviar, which I must say is not the most typical for... So the Nakasendo, when you read the kanji, the Japanese characters, it means between mountain path. So between the mountains, caviar is not that common, I think, in Japan. Wow, $20 from Daniel Panic. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the support all the time. Oh, Mama, thank you also. Greetings to Papa. That's my dad. Thanks a lot for your reply and guidance with the current work situation in Japan. Ah, yeah, no problem. I hope it will work out somehow. By the way, if you cannot hear me well or anything doesn't look nice or so, let me know. So back to today. I went to Narayuku, this town, not so close but also not so far from here. I got up at 5, left the house at 6, took the train at 6:30 and arrived at 8:39 or so. So it's not so far. And the nice thing about this one, what's nice about this one, is it's on this trail, but it also is close to a train station actually. So if you don't have a car or your car is used by your wife, like in my case, then that's really helpful. So you don't have to go to a station and then take a bus or a taxi or walk or something. It's just next to the station, it starts there, so you can walk the whole thing and back. It's 1 kilometer one way, so 2 kilometers. Take a look at one side of the street one way, the other side when you come back. So that was very nice. And yeah, this town, it looks nice. Maybe I can show you a picture. Wait a second. You have to see it. Take a look on my phone. 1 second. It looks really nice. Because they preserved this old style. Good one. Maybe if you can see that. Wait, let me focus here. Can you? Maybe. So, today, clear blue sky, not clear, blue sky, clouded blue sky, beautiful day. Also, not a lot of tourists. I talked to one of the shop owners and she said almost nothing today. It's Saturday and as you have seen on the picture, not a lot of people, and that's because of the state of emergency. So a lot of people from Kyoto, Tokyo and so on do not come. And then of course she also said before Corona about 50% of the visitors were foreigners. That's now of course not possible. Yeah, it does look really great, and I have another one for you. Wait a second. Including a nice story. Here. Whoops. A little closer maybe. This. So I will post this on Instagram too. So if you are not following me there, then you find a link in the description if you're interested. This is a monk receiving an alm from the lady there. And this monk is kind of famous because during or after the Tohoku earthquake in 2011, he visited this place, the affected areas, and prayed there all the time. And he was covered in newspapers, definitely nationally, maybe internationally. And today he was there. And the lady on the left, she owns the store you see in the back. And her husband passed away a couple of years ago, I think 3 or so, not in the tsunami. And she is selling his art there on postcards and also displaying a couple of things that are not for sale that he made and left behind. So that's my favorite picture of today. And it was a nice moment. It wasn't staged or anything. So he received that, and then he wished her all the best and health, and continued his way. And that was very nice. Also, next to that store is another store, and he talked a little longer with that store owner. So it was nice to hear a little bit like where he's coming from, where he's going. Okay, let's see what he wrote. That looks really cool. Yes, it was. Looks very quaint and like some of the places I once walked through in a tiny part of Japan near Yokosuka. Oh, I see. Have you been stationed maybe in Yokosuka? If you told me already, then I forgot. I'm so sorry. I thought he was proposing. No, he has this little bowl and then he holds that up, receives. He's not giving in that case. Or he's giving his prayers and so on, but he's receiving some monetary or whatever thing. It looks like you traveled back in time. Yeah, kind of maybe. Because all of the store owners I met today were, I think, 50 years or older. So kind of shows a little bit the issues we have here in the countryside. Maybe not so much in this city, but in smaller towns like this one. And I talked to a couple of people. I had great matcha in one place. I can also show you another picture. It's really... Actually, it's not the best way to show pictures. And again, it will be on Instagram eventually. Wait a second. And matcha is just great. I think this was after the first zip. Let me focus here again. Oops. This was after the first zip. And the first one is bitter. And it's like, this is okay. But then the second one and so on, fantastic. It was really great and it made me smile even. And then I talked to a couple of, also the owner of this place. He was also a nice guy. I talked to another lady and so on, asked her if she maybe would like to do an interview. Because when you just walk through the town, it's like, it looks nice, but what's so special and so on. But if you talk with the owners of the places there, they all have like this for generations, not all, many. And then you get to know more, and then you see the characters and why they're there, what they are valuing in their life and in their town and so on. And then it gets interesting. So I asked her, one person, if she wants to do an interview. We had a good conversation, good connection before. No, she didn't. She didn't, unfortunately. So I had a little bit more food and so on, walked around. And then I went to the tourist information center, talked to a guy there, and explored a little more. He told me to go to this one temple where they have a giant painting on the ceiling. It's like, I don't know how long. It's super wide. It's a dragon. And then I came back and talked to him about I want to make a video, and ideally I would like to talk to the people of the town, and if he could help me. And he said, yes, that's a great idea. We should do that. So for the first time, actually, I used my business cards. Very helpful today. And he immediately told me we could talk to this person, and then he introduced me a little more to like the social media guy of the town, to other places and so on. And now the status is we will get in contact. I will get in contact, make a plan, and then probably end of the month or so, we will execute. So I have a couple of interviews lined up, maybe 5 or so, show like a range of people, what they're doing. One maybe hotel owner, cafe owner, what's the word? Handicrafter, I don't know, and so on. So that we have like a good slice of people that live there, and we can understand their individual stories, but also what connects them. That's my goal for that video, which will hopefully then come next month. Alright, I was in Japan on layover. My service ship was being refueled, restocked, etc. And I left to tour around as much as I can. All my Japanese experience occurred during these visits. Ah, I see. So a quick one. But, I mean, if you had an experience like that, it's probably a good memory. Thank you, Sapka Daddy. Thank you so much. Okay, now let me open this. It is, of course, a sake cup, ochoko. Ta-da. Made of wood. Because this town is famous for lacquerware and wooden stuff and so on. Yes, as I can't hear. Doesn't smell a lot, but yeah, one day I will try this. Not sure if for alcohol or something else. Can you see that? Here, no wait, here, this one is also a sake cup, and I have another one like that, the sibling of this one downstairs, and I use it to make dressing for salads. Very small, perfect size. Yeah, so not necessarily for alcohol, but something will happen with this one. Very nice. And as always, if you have any topics besides happy birthday, just let me know and we talk about it. Any questions, let me know. I had planned to go to Kyoto next week to visit a couple of YouTubers, make a couple of videos. But now the state of emergency has been extended, also for Kyoto, until the end of the month. That means earliest next month I will be able to go. Which is unfortunate, of course, but that's how it is. Speaking of my birthday, so my birthday, for those who joined later, was yesterday. And I got, first of all, we went to eat Wagyu. Excellent. Shinshu Gyu. Shinshu is Nagano. And Gyu is beef. So from this area, they get like fed with apples, because Nagano has lots of apples. It's famous for that. And yeah, I had like 250 gram steak. It was a little too much actually, but it was great, of course. And my wife had sukiyaki. So that's like a hot pot, but also with the thin slices of very marbled Wagyu. It was great. Was, of course, not cheap, but also not super expensive. So definitely much cheaper than, for example, Kobe beef in Kyoto or Tokyo. Even cheaper than Kobe beef in Kobe. So that was very nice. And then spent time with the family, purchased some stuff. Also this week I bought a standing desk. So that can change. Now I'm sitting, but I can press a button here and then it moves up. And that also arrived yesterday. And I like moved around, put away the old table and so on just before the stream to have like a kind of representable room here. Okay, on the topic of birthdays. Oh wait, no, I missed some. I use my sake cups for food preparation, such as sorting out herbs and spices for meals I prepare. Yeah, that's also good. I see that. They are just perfect, this small size. There are a couple of ones. So this one is a normal one, right, like this. But there are also some that are like a triangle. So if you put them down, then they fall to the side. And the purpose is, you shall not put this down when it's not empty. So if it's not empty and you put it down, then it spills. And some have a hole, so you have to have your finger on it. So if you put it down, then again, there's the hole, bloop, the alcohol goes out. So you have to drink it, and then you put it down. So much for sake cups. On the topic of birthdays, are the typical birthday cakes with candles and all that also a thing in Japan? I never thought about it. Good question. I think it's not as popular. There certainly are candles and so on, and there are lots of great looking birthday cakes. To me, I must say they mostly taste the same. Maybe because they're not as extreme. So in Germany, they're very sweet in comparison, I feel. And here they're very, I mean, the range of extremes is maybe not as big, I would say. So Germany may go from here to here, and Japan maybe from here to here. So you don't get as much as variation when it comes to taste, in my opinion. They look fantastic. They're packaged fantastic. And yeah, then you have like happy birthday and chocolate characters or so on that. But I think at least when I buy it from the bakery, then usually they don't have candles. We bought some, I think, for our children at some point, but I don't think it's super popular. In the US, we are lifting restrictions now for people who are vaccinated. Yeah, I read that. I'm not sure if that's clever or not, because of mutations and so on, but I'm also no expert on the topic, so. Can you describe your concept of Geburtstagstische, birthday tables? I'm not sure what you mean, but maybe you can elaborate a little more. Ninja Monkey made it here again. Thank you, Ninja Monkey, for being here. Welcome. Thanks a lot, Ninja Monkey. By the way, also absolutely not a lot of viewers today. Wondering why? Maybe because I scheduled the live stream this morning at when was that? 5 something before I left the house, 5:40 or so. And usually I schedule it like 3-4 hours beforehand, and then it drops down in the subscription list and so on. Anyway, thank you all for being here. Without you, it wouldn't happen. So I have this one here, a cracker. Shall we crack it open? I bought this just before when I went home at the 100 yen store. So probably this will be like instant regret. I hope nothing drops into my drinks. Put this here. Okay, ready? What beer are you drinking? I'm drinking a Weihenstephaner, which is a German beer, yeast beer, white beer. Do you say that? And it's from the oldest brewery in the world. Can you believe it? Or wait for more viewers. Yeah, but who knows? Yeah, usually like the peak is around at 1 hour. So let's wait. Now that you're saying it. But while we are doing that, I also bought at Narayuku today this here, which is Ichijuku, which means fig. Cost $10. So I hope it's good. In the meantime, I will take off this hat because it's painful. Yes. Can't open it. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you so much. Yet another year done. Last year, around this time, I was still in Nagano, but went back to Yokohama soon after. And probably around this day, I did the exploring the Japanese countryside video, for which I did because I bought a new camera. Wait a second. This camera here, the Osmo Pocket, and I did the whole video on that camera. It was the only time. So it's an action cam like a GoPro, but cheaper. And also it had already then a front-facing screen, so it's very easy to frame myself. And it worked kind of good. Unfortunately, it has a lot of sharpening, which does not look does not look good on people's faces, especially if they have wrinkles or so on. If they're babies, maybe it's okay, but everything else is not. So I use it not as much because of that, but still, it's a good camera. It has great stabilization. Audio is kind of okay, and especially it's reliable. I hear GoPros, especially recently, are not work like 40% or so of the time. I hear, so this is really good. Also, this connection here. So I can plug in a microphone, I can still charge while doing that. So that's really nice. This is a GoPro. No, it's an Osmo Action. So not from GoPro, but from DJI. Yeah. and it's good. The only issue with this one is, two issues. One is it's over sharpening, so you see every wrinkle you have and more probably. And the second one is if it gets too cold, then the battery is not usable. So when Victor and I were on the mountain here in December, and it got to like -9 or so. So this, I think the guaranteed operating temperature is until -10, but this was like, you switch it on and the battery was like 90, 85, 80 in like seconds. So then it's essentially not usable in the cold. Other than that, it's good. So when I do something in the shower or so, and you see the water falling on the camera, then it's this camera. Because waterproof and all that. Oh, Alminox! Thank you. お誕生日おめでとうございます. Thank you. ありがとうございます for the whatever you choose fund. Thank you so much. Again, I'm not sure how much that is, but it must be a lot, I think. Last time you said 89 are around, was around 3,300 yen, so this must be like a lot. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yes, this is the Osmo Action. Did I say Osmo Action or did I say Osmo Pocket? I always mix it up, but it's an Osmo Action. Yes. That's what I wanted to say. I would love it if I could kind of program it. So for example, maybe that's not really interesting to you, but if I press this button here, this is the record button, it switches on and it starts recording, but the screen is always the back screen, and then when it's recording I can't switch it to the front, and if it's not recording then I press a button on the side here, whoop, and then it switches on this screen. Can you see that? Maybe because this one's here. Anyway, yeah, the little minor inconveniences. It is waterproof if I add this lid here, or this thing here. But because I have this adapter, it's not right now. But if I need to, I just put this there and then it is. Battery life is so-so, maybe 30 minutes or so of recording, 40, 45. Osmo Pocket is very useful, yeah. So stabilization is really good. Astonishing. Yeah. And like to get an okay image really fast, fantastic. Because it has like, everything is in focus, so you will certainly not have any issues there. Put this up, do this. You can see yourself. It's very wide, and it has like D-warp, so it doesn't look like a fisheye. So it's a good camera for this kind of thing. And if the environment is good, so low light, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible, but other than that, it's a good thing. I have Victor Action Cam. It's a cheaper one, but the brand seems to be somewhat decent. Oh, okay. Interesting. How much? This one is like, I think, $200 in the US. Here it's more expensive, I think. Also, you can change the lens, so if it breaks. 3,500 yen, I see. Oh, Daniel Panic levels up. Thank you so much, Daniel, again. Can't have Aminox throw me up. Yeah. Please continue. So really appreciate all your support. I mean, it's really great. It's really fantastic. I'm very grateful for that. Now, Fix. Doesn't look like Fix. Let's see how it tastes. Small one. From Narayuku. It's much harder than it looks. Okay, Ninja Monkey thinks they fixed it with firmware to switch screens before recording, during recording. Let me test. So now I'm recording. At least with the quick setting button it doesn't work. But maybe, I think it's on the most current firmware, but maybe not. And perfect would be to have both screens on. That would be the best. Anyway, what are your birthday plans? So actually my birthday was yesterday. I have to repeat it every 20 minutes. And So we did have some Wagyu, which was very good. Did some shopping, small things. I bought a standing desk this week, and it arrived. So I put that together, and now before the live stream I put it up here. So I'm using it now, not standing though. And oh my God, Daniel, Alminox, thank you so much. You moved down here, exactly. I mean, if anybody wants to join it too, please feel invited. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Happy birthday from PT. Best wishes from Czechia, neighbor. Thank you so much. I've only been to the Czech Republic once when I was 18. So that's like a long time. Now I'm 34, by the way. I turned 34. So almost half my life ago. Doesn't feel like it. And back to my birthday plans. Yeah, so we had that. We went to a couple of stores, bought some stuff, like new carpet, not carpet, but like a tatami, if you know that rice straw mat thing, like carpet, which is very nice for summer, I feel. And it smells nice. I like it. And today I went to a town to hopefully make a video. Didn't work out, but I got a lot of contacts, so I will come back and make interviews and hopefully have something like what it's like living in a Japanese post town. Yeah. The Wingcher action cam was less than $100. Oh, I don't use it much. Maybe when I move into the city, hopefully soon. That was Seattle, right? Was it Seattle? Okay, I see. To switch between screens, press and hold the quick switch button on the left side of the camera, I think. Okay. Yeah, they changed that in the update and also in another firmware update. You don't have to press and hold, you can press once. But let me check that again, maybe then it works. Let's see. Recording. Press and hold. Yes, works. Excellent. Good. My friend from work had her birthday yesterday too. Wow. And Ronnie says your 34 still looks so young. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Very much appreciated. Oh my God. Daniel. Thank you again. You win. I'm trying to buy a place in an expensive area. I can't get into a super chat war. Thank you both. Thank you so much. That's probably a record. I haven't counted, but this must be a lot. Yeah, thank you so much. Ronnie, that's probably because of the camera. Like it's softening a little bit, maybe a little bit, and the light is nice and so on. If it was the Osmo this action camera, the Osmo Action, then it would look much worse. Also, I live in Japan. For some reason, many people look much younger than they are. And yeah, I never feel like I look young here. But then when I go to Germany, it's like, oh yeah, not bad. Still have hair and stuff. Super chat is not available to me here in Gibraltar, or I would super chat. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Ninja Monkey. Yeah, I had hoped to set up something like Tippy or some kind of cheaper option for donation and so on, or for the people that can't, until this chat. But because I was outside essentially until 1 hour before the stream, and then I had to clean up here, it didn't work out. Next time, hopefully. So by the way, it tastes good. Very good. Let's see if my children like that. Usually my older one, he's like, these are figs for those who have joined recently. My older one, he's like, oh, figs, nice, I like figs. You want one? No. Like that. He had them once or so. But maybe he likes them because they look different. At least the wife won't complain too much about earning below minimum wage today. Yeah, true. They are actually not here now because, I told her, you know, I will be leaving the house before you get up. I come back, I do a live stream. Do you want to go to your mother-in-law? Do you want to go to your mom? And she's like, yeah, sure. Because, you know, when she's at her mom, then the mom can support a lot with the kids and so on. Super relaxing for her. What's your main camera? I recently got the A7S III. Wow. But no chance to use it. Damn. But in 2 weeks time I'll be in Seville maybe, Spain for a short break. So maybe then. Nice. What lens do you got? Yeah, A7S III is a great camera. I hear. I mean, I actually took a look today at an electronics store. I went to an electronics store next to the 100 yen store where I bought this one and the head. And it seems to be a fantastic camera. I have a GH5, Panasonic GH5. Let me see. Can I show it to you somehow? Wait. Can you see that? Maybe somehow. This is the GH5. It probably just looks like any generic autofocus camera. And it was released in 2017, so almost 4 years old. This model, but still very reliable. Can do 4K 60 frames per second or 4K 30 in 10-bit, 4:2. So pretty good for its age. It has, of course, shortcomings, especially the autofocus. Essentially, you can't use it because it's not reliable, and then you can't trust it. So I always am on manual, but still does a good job. Especially the in-body image stabilization is fantastic. So far so good. And I got this in 2019, late 2019, when I visited Germany for 1,000 euros used. So that was pretty good. And also this lens I bought here on Amazon for 20,000 yen, which is like $200. So pretty good. And versatile, zoom-wise. That being said, of course, the A7S III would be very nice, but you know, I think it's like $3,500 without lens, and then probably I would get the 16 to 35, which is $2,000. And you know, this channel needs to grow a little bit before that's worth it, before I can justify that to you know, my wife. Okay, now fixed tastes good and are good for you. Wagyu is not usually in the shops here, too expensive. I can totally understand that. If it would be, I would be surprised actually. I have an iPhone with a camera that makes videos, but I need my grandchildren to have me use it. Yeah, but I mean, that's nice. Then they can feel like they, you know, give something to their grandpa and to learn something. You guys talking about expensive cameras, I'm still using GoPro 5 bought in 2018. You see? This camera, 2017. Bought in 2019 though, but still. And also this phone. This is a OnePlus 6, I think. Bought in 2018. Terrible camera, I think. Or at least the app is not. It's like always the color is bad and so on. Yeah, anyway. Worst case, I use this one, but better. If I anyhow can, I use this camera. This one is also kind of okay, the Osmo Action, but the image does not give me a lot of range. So if I change it a little bit, it falls apart, I feel, compared to this one. So whenever I can, I use this camera. Just anything else. Of the cameras I also have a RX100, which is a kind of good camera for its size. It's a point and shoot. Wait. This one here. It's good, capable, 4K and all that for its size. Sony colors. Unfortunately also Sony menu, which is not nice. So it's not bad for its size, but compared to this one, again, it's not good. So if I can, this one. Now, I've got the Tamron 28 to 75 f2.8 and also Sony 50 f1.8. I'm in love with the 120 FPS 4K, and the autofocus is crazy. Yes. So for those who are not into cameras, so the a7S III was released by Sony late last year, and it's a fantastic camera. Ticks all the boxes for somebody like me, for YouTubers. So it has like a flip out screen. It has, as Ninja Monkey mentioned, 4K in 120 frames per second. That means we can slow-mo. It has good color depth, so the image can be manipulated well without losing a lot of data, without falling apart, which means like we have artifacts and so on. It has great autofocus, which is fantastic for like if you want to do something quickly and not just take your time to focus and so on. And yeah, a lot more, but it's kind of expensive, and that's why I don't have it. I got mine in January, and 1 month later they released the FX3. So then now for the others here, FX3 is almost the same as the A7S III, a little smaller, a little bit more video focused, I think, and a little bit more expensive. Sony is ruling the camera industry currently, I must say. I think so too, yeah. Now there are rumors about the GH5 II from Panasonic, so this one's second version, but I don't know if that's good. So the sensor on this one is micro four thirds, which means it's cropped by 2. That means, for example, I have a 16mm lens, which would be rather wide, then it doubles that. So it's a 32, which is rather narrow. So we need very wide lenses in order to get, for example, a lot of a room. This room, for example. Right now we are at about 16. So this is a 16 on this Panasonic, which would be a 32 on a full frame, like the FX3 or the A7S III. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yumeoi, maybe. Ninja Monkey doesn't have kids or wife, so I can justify it. You don't have to justify it. That's the point. Team Ninja Monkey, yay. My phone also has a bad camera, but I recently just downloaded an app with which I can manipulate the focus and colors manually. It's way better now. Yeah, on this one I downloaded the Google camera app, which they use on the Pixel phones and so on. But it freezes sometimes, and it's still not. It doesn't change the hardware. Anyway. How many cameras you currently on? Including the phone 4, I think. So this one you're currently seeing, my main camera, which I use whenever I can. Then the phone, which has like super touchy fingerprint marks. Then this one here is the RX100 Mark V, released 5 years ago. Flip up screen, good low light performance, f1.8 on this 1-inch sensor. It's not comparable to this one, but still it's pretty good for point and shoot. And for example, if I would go to a restaurant or so on and don't want to be like everybody's looking, then I use this one. Last week I used this one also when eating food and like people passing by it, yeah? At a station actually, but they were looking. Anyway, have to get over that. And then this action cam, Osmo Action. I don't have any expensive cameras, says Daniel. I don't try to buy so much unless I'm going to use it. I used to waste money before and now try to be minimalist. Yes, exactly. That's also why I'm like, I mean, if I would buy the A7S III and it made such a tremendous difference that and by that I would earn more than these $5,000 or so, sure, why not? But it certainly won't happen like right now. And if the channel explodes or something, and then I think, yeah, okay, I need like this just a little more efficiency in what I do, then yes. But now, right now, no way. I mean, something, for example, I did is I changed my computer this year, No, last year. So I had a MacBook from 2015, and now I have a Mac Mini, which was $1,000, so rather cheap for Mac. And because there's the new hardware, the Apple Silicon, it works much better with the video disc camera outputs. So before I had to transform that into a different one, took like a day and all that, and now with that it's all just smooth with the format straight from the camera. So that was a good update, I think. But changing the camera just because it gives me a little more maybe autofocus or something. Exactly. So currently it's not realistic, I think. It doesn't really make sense for me financially. If I make I get this out of it and I pay this much, currently it's not worth it. Okay, so much about that. Changing the entire lens package is prohibitively expensive. This, I would say, with the Micro Four Thirds camera. This is why I would say with the Micro Four Thirds cameras, hoping to go to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K soon. Okay. So Pocket Cinema 4K, again, because for all the people that don't know, has the same mount as this camera. The Micro Four Thirds MFT mount. And as Aminox mentioned, if I were to change, for example, to Sony, then I could not use this lens anymore and would have to buy Sony lenses. Then again, probably I would sell this anyway. So, but I think this one and the lenses I have would get maybe like $2,000, and then the new camera alone would be more than that without lenses. So it's kind of, oh. If you do buy a newer, better camera, couldn't you sell the other ones? Oh yeah, exactly. At least this one. I mean, I would probably still keep these two, because they are not for, I don't have them because they are better. I have them because they are different form factor, smaller. So the M1 is as good as they claim. For me it is, at least. I mean, sometimes there are crashes, but not a lot. Really not a lot. Less than once a week. Probably, I mean, of programs, not of the system itself. And for, yeah, I use Final Cut, which is an Apple software, so it's optimized for that and it works really well. So far. In the beginning it didn't, because I had the new operating system on here, on the new hardware, but Final Cut was not updated and I didn't know it needs to. Also didn't show me something is available, and that was pretty disappointing because it skipped frames, so it didn't play back smoothly. But then, once that updated, thankfully. And yeah, I even asked a friend who had already a Mac Mini, sent him some files if it would play back fine on the Final Cut, and it did. So yeah, I kind of did my homework and then I purchased. I think it was my Christmas present. And it worked good for me. I did consider buying a laptop, but it's twice as expensive and has a small screen. So sometimes I think it would be nice to have something to carry around, but most of the times it's perfectly fine. I mean, 95% or more, I'm just sitting in my room at this exact position to do my work at this computer, so it's totally fine to not have a laptop and then save this $1,000 instead. Yes. Yeah, I'm happy with the M1. And yeah, looking forward to hear what you think about the iMac M1 24. I don't know if I would. How much is that? It's also not so expensive for an iMac, right? $1,000 Christmas present. Can I please get adopted into this family? Yeah, no. But just for me, not for the kids. I think it was something like, was it Christmas? Or like part of that. By the way, speaking of presents, so birthday present, as I mentioned, we got Wagyu, and then I want to get, so my mom and my wife teamed up to get me mats, judo or aikido mats, so for practicing, you know. They're so expensive. They are between the 200 and $350. It's kind of the range for one. And I want two, like one mat is 2 square meters, 1 and 2. So I want 4 square meters. So that's so pricey. So people need to team up in order to get me at least 1 or 1.5. Okay, Ninja Monkey, thank you. I'm interested. Very colorful designs this time. This monitor I have here, you don't see it, but it's just next to the camera. This one I bought when I came to Japan. It was one of the few investments I made because as I mentioned, I used still my laptop back then, which I bought 2015 MacBook. I bought in early 2016, and this one is a 4K monitor from back then from LG, which is not available anymore. I checked it on Amazon the other day because I thought maybe a second one would be nice, and probably it's cheap now. No, doesn't exist anymore. Not sold anymore. And this was like $400 or so, but I think it's still perfectly fine. Thankfully, monitors don't change as rapidly, don't upgrade as rapidly as other hardware, I feel. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of people talking about their food in restaurants in Japan. I struggle to imagine people doing that in the US. I see. I mean, the thing is, the audience is probably the audience is English-speaking people. So I could imagine Japanese person doing that in Japanese for a Japanese audience. Like in the US, they eat this and they behave like that, and you should do that. For example, things like you tip and so on. Explaining that, I can imagine. But of course, for you and me, maybe even that's maybe not the most interesting. Although sometimes I stumble on people that are, for example, from the US, live in Germany and make content about Germany in English. And then there's actually a lot of Germans in the comments. So we Germans seem to be very interested in what other people have to say about us. Maybe for Japanese, because the level of English in education is not as high, maybe they just don't understand it well enough. Every now and then a Japanese person comes to my videos, but only if they're really popular usually. Eddie in San Diego, thank you so much, $10. Thank you so much. So today is record-breaking stream. I think you must be very close to 100 or so. Fantastic, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So by the way, in case I don't have it on the screen, I have this donation goal. It doesn't work with the super chat, but here, right? Soon you will be able. Can you see it? No, now. So I had a drone goal. Drone is around 1,000 or so, including accessories. So we're getting closer. That's what it will be used. That's what it will be used for. So I mentioned before, I don't want to spend money on cameras if I don't use them or so. But now that I live in Nagano, and we have most of the areas here are okay to fly drones in, and 2, it's just spectacularly beautiful and gives a great perspective. For example, if you're in a small village like I was today, and then you go high and give an overview over the village so that people actually see how much there is, and the mountains in the background and so on. That's why I think it will be very useful, and that's why I'm trying to, with what comes in from the live streams, to kind of maybe in 3 months' time or so purchase that. Okay, back to your messages. Which programming languages do you find are mostly used in Japan? So we had this question before. When I applied to my company and others, which was in 2017, so bear that in mind, it was, I think, Ruby on Rails for backend. Most companies use that, especially the smaller ones, like game companies and so on, Ruby. I guess it has changed a little bit. For bigger companies, certainly JavaScript, backend, frontend, both. If you do mobile, of course, it will be like Swift and Kotlin. Some companies also want cross-platform. Then it would be like Flutter probably, so Dart. And gaming would be C# probably for Unity. What language do you speak to your children? In English, German, Japanese, obviously. German, Japanese, yes. The older one Japanese, the younger one German, interestingly. Makes sense. It's more interesting from a foreigner standpoint. I have watched videos from a British guy in Chicago, Indiana. Right? Yeah, I mean, at least when I see people talking about living in Germany, talking about Germany, or if I see videos, how I learned German in 3 months, then I'm like, okay, where you at? Show me what you got. Speak German. And sometimes they're really good for that amount of time they put into. And sometimes it's like, yeah, okay. But also if there are people that say like, watch me speak 10 languages in a video, and one of them is German, often. That's also, then you listen to that, I only know 3, right? But then I listen to that and I'm like, okay, you speak 10 languages, but you don't actually know them also, which is usually the case. All right, I digress. Drone photography is so beautiful unless you fly over a trash dump. Japanese scenery would be outstanding. I hope you get the money soon. Thank you, Patrick Smith. With your support and the support of the others, I think we can do it soon. Okay, Popcom 12. I hope I guess you're thinking about finding a job coming here and so on. I hope it will work. It's interesting. I get a lot of comments, or I get some comments even on videos that are not specifically about work in Japan. For example, today I had one on, I think, when like 3-4 years ago, I walked around here in Nagano. And I asked the question, is this countryside? Is it city? Because in Japanese people would say inaka, which is countryside, but it's a city. Like here are more than almost 400,000 people, so it's not small. Still, there are not a lot of skyscrapers or so. So I asked this question. One person today commented he or she would like to become, he or she is an urban planner in wherever they live, and would like to do that in the Japanese countryside, and if there are positions. Of course, I don't know. It's not my field, but interesting that people ask that on any video. There are many subtle differences in cultures. For example, I was being polite by Western standards by keeping quiet while my wife's mother was talking. Both got chewed out for not listening. But got chewed out for not listening. Ah, I see. Yeah, interesting, no? Yeah, you need to and so on. Give feedback even if you're not listening. So desu ne. Naruhodo. Maybe not naruhodo. Depends on position, eh? Kashikomarimashita. Maybe that's better. Okay, horse rider Praladkin is from India and wants to know, when does Japan reopen borders for tourists? So of course I don't know, so I can't give you a clear answer. Vaccination, I also don't know. I haven't looked in the last week. I think last time I looked, maybe Monday or Sunday, it was like 2.4% for the first round or more, and 1% for the second. So that's not going so fast. And depending on how that develops, we will see when Japan opens again. I would guess earliest in winter, maybe later. Maybe they do some extra special rule where they say if you have a internationally approved vaccination pass, then you get to come here. So, all right. Ninja Monkey says, I think a drone will be perfect for you as you are based in Japan. I have a drone, took it to Japan, freaked out constantly whenever I used it, and then stopped using it, as it takes up space in the backpack unless I specifically know I'm going to use it. Yeah, that's true. The Ed-Den Minox drone. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Minox. Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße. Junge als Gute Mann. gerade fertig geworden, kurz mal rein hier. Alles Gute. Thank you so much, there, Flo. So Flo, by the way, if you happen to speak German, then please follow Untitled zur Milchstraße, who just commented here. He's a great guy, very energetic. Recently kind of had a micro explosion on his channel. So he went from like, I don't know, what was it, 100 or so? Less than 100 to now 1,500 subscribers in a month's time or so. So pretty substantial growth if you look at the numbers. And his followers join his live streams way more than mine do, so that's great. And I think he's a great guy, and his live streams are great to watch as well. And he was one of the persons I had hoped to visit in Kyoto, and next week, but unfortunately now I can't. Maybe then we meet next month or so. Who knows? Hopefully it works. Yeah, Flo, I had a Weinstefaner. Can you believe it? A German beer. It was a liquor store close to here where they had that, but it sold out and they never stocked it up again. And I ordered it online. I ordered 10 of these for 5,000 yen. Super expensive, but it's so good. If you hadn't had it for like 2 years or so, fantastic. If you're like me from Bavaria anyway. I don't know if that's for you as a Berlin person. Okay, SCN Network knows Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße macht doppeltes Spiel. I see, so Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße is probably also in another chat from another, I think the second largest Japan-based YouTuber who's live at the same time. I only know a little German. Die schwarze Katze ist ein Autopferd. Excellent, Daniel. I think that's pretty perfect what you wrote there. And you should be able to go now and join or subscribe to Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße. Sternburger. ACN is here. Okay, I don't know Sternburger. I guess that's a beer. Also, where are we now? We are 1 hour in. Wanted to send super stickers twice. Doesn't work. Why? Irgendwas in his settings. I see. Yeah, it worked for others today, so it should be not a general problem. Since you're in Japan, it should also be okay. Hopefully it works. It's okay. Now we are 1 hour in, so I think now it's time to crack the cracker. Right? So, mentioned it before, will probably be instant regret if it works at all. So, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. No, it's it did not drop into my remaining water, so that's safe here. But it's now hanging from the air conditioner and the monitor. I hope my wife's not watching. Leave it there. Sorry, it's it's too late. It's all silver. Why? I wanted more variations. There are also other ones where this is actually attached to the thing to the cracker itself, so you don't have to like collect it afterwards. I feel very Japanese to do it like that. Yeah. Yay. 100 yen. Gone. Japan community support. Excellent. Looks good. Yes. Okay. So I'm translating from what Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße, which means a ticket to Milky Way, to the Milky Way, is saying. He says, it says in his settings he has to change from euro to Japanese yen because he's in Japan. Do you play any PC mobile games? Unfortunately not. Every now and then I feel like it. However, I have no idea what would be a good game to play now. And I also don't want to invest like $50 or so just for a game that I then have time to play once. So mostly I spend my time then learning Japanese, doing videos, cleaning up the mess I made, making live streams, playing with my kids and so on. In the past I like to play a lot. But then essentially when I started working with computers, and sit in front of one every day, all day. Then in the evening, I'm like, okay, no, I would like to move my body, for example, instead. I have a little bit of balance there. So I stopped gaming essentially. So back then, when I was young, so birthday now, I'm 34. So I'm actually 4 years older than Untitled zur Milchstraße. Almost 4 years. When I was young, I liked to play things like Age of Empires 2, which is still my all-time favorite. I even managed to get it working on Mac. But I still haven't played it in 2 years or so, or 3. And I don't know if it would work on M1 Max. Yeah. So that's that. And I did have a Star Wars game I liked a lot, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, when I was young. And then my brother told me last year that it's available on Steam for Mac for €2.50. So like $3 in the US. And I bought it and I played it. It was not as fun. But I could continue playing it if I wanted to. So I have that option, which is nice. And that was the last time I played. That was fun. I'm sure your wife is laughing with you. Yeah, I mean, if she's watching, I don't know. Because she's not at home. She's with her mom. Okay, Ticket to Milchstraße says he should write in English. No worries. Please speak English. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think Flo's English is much better than mine. So if you would, if you came with mine, you would be with his. Go man that I couldn't message super stickers now. Yeah. Just send me the money. Just send me a letter or your beer somewhere. Excellent. I'm in. Bye Big Bigelow. Okay. Have a nice evening, Flo. As we become mature, we start making distance with these kind of things. Yeah, but still, I mean, every now and then it's great, I think. But then if I go like into it, probably I would feel like I'm kind of maybe not wasting time, but I could use it better. Yeah. But if you have recommendations, especially for games that work on Mac, let me know. I did make, by the way, games when was that? Maybe 7 years ago on mobile. So I had my company in Germany and we had success working for clients. So I had a couple of apps on the App Store. One got like, not in the App Store, on Google Play, and one got like 1 million downloads or so. So it was kind of okay, but not. It was a nice addition to what I was earning as a student. It was much more actually, but not sustainable. Like it was up and down, not a safe thing. And then I also opened a company focused on app development and got a couple of clients. One very big one, and we got like 2 of us got like too much money, essentially, or enough money. And with that money, then we said, okay, let's take a step back and invest in, become a gaming company. So we invested a little bit in some things and make games for some time, for a year and a bit, until we ran out of money and it didn't work. So that was also a period in my life. When do you always stream? I stream Saturday at 9 p.m. Japanese time, which is then 2 p.m. in Germany right now. And in winter then it will be 1 p.m. in Germany. Patrick says, such games keep your brain moving. Playing with your children makes you happy and you live better and longer. That's great to hear, Patrick. Yeah, I mean, I also love playing with my children. Especially now we have the vegetables outside, and then my older one's like, oh, look, another one has come out, and so on. It's a little bit like My Neighbor Totoro, if you have seen that. My brother would play on Mac. We'd play Terraria, Factorio, and Civ 6. At what time do you sleep? Today, I guess, like midnight or so. So about 2 hours. And usually I try to sleep earlier. Yesterday I slept like at 8 with my children. Only Saturdays, yes. Only Saturdays. At least right now. So actually, I just started this schedule like 3-4 weeks ago. Before that, it was like some weeks would be 2 times, 3 times, sometimes none in 2 weeks or so. And then I said, okay, just like my Saturday is something I can commit to. No work the next day. Somehow the kids will be asleep. Somehow I will make time. And if I'm somewhere else, it would also give like a nice new perspective from like some hotel room or so. Just play PUBG or PUBG. I don't know. I don't even know. I heard that, but I don't know what it is. So I have to Google that after the stream. You know, you feel healthy and energetic and so on, and then you read that, I'm like, God damn, I'm old. Also, when I go to Germany now, or the last time I was in 2019, I was at a Friday for Future, and the younglings talked, and I'm like, I understand what she says and what she means, but I didn't know this word existed, and I wouldn't be able to use it. At least not that way. A bit late, but happy birthday. Warmest wishes from Spain. Thank you so much, Cyclone. Warmest greetings back to Spain. Daniel says, we are more casual gamers, no PUBG or Fortnite or whatever the kids play. Ah, yeah, I see. I think my brother, he's younger, he's 60 now. He plays, or played at least, Fortnite. Big fan of the Newsroom by Aaron Sorkin. Tracy Networks. I'm not, I don't know the reference, but maybe. By the way, it looks terrible in here. I put all the stuff away from behind me, but here on this side, it's like the cables, the wires, it's like an explosion. It's like 1 square meter of just like wires. And over there I clothes, because it's now like just between summer and winter, so I take all the winter clothes and put it into a box and take out the summer clothes and so on. And there's my camera backpack. That's why I could pull out the cameras fast and all that. Looks terrible, but yeah, you know, just push it to the side and then it works. Which movie you watched recently? Let me think. I watched some Japanese drama with my wife, but not completely. It was kind of fun. Some teacher, and he's kind of a badass teacher or so, you would say maybe. And he's teaching at a school where for some reason all the students want to go to Todai. That's the Tokyo University, which is like the best university in Japan, the most prestigious one. And that's that. But he's like a badass, so it doesn't, this high-level university achievement that they are striving for, and this like kind of unconventional teacher. Of course, there's like a conflict, and yeah, very Japanese. And other than that, let me think. Let me quickly see if Netflix, maybe I did start something and not continue. I wanted to watch The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. It's one of my actually favorites, if you believe it or not. But I didn't find it. Let me see what. So I did watch Giri Haji, which is not a movie but a show on Netflix. Like a Japanese detective going to London. So half Japanese, half English, kind of Yakuza and so on. And then before that, apparently I started watching Shawshank Redemption. Was a nice movie. Yeah, that's that. And before that, Wolf of Wall Street also started, not finished, in Japanese. So you learn a lot of interesting words there. Right. The fictional TV channel in that show was named ACN. I see. In the Newsroom. Girihachi is a good drama, yes. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like at the 5th out of 8 episodes, and I think it it might end on a cliffhanger or so, because I think it's a series, right? But Netflix and BBC, who originally made it, announced it will not be continued. Watch Fukushima 50 to see Ken Watanabe being very Ken Watanabe. Wow, that sounds good. I will. Fukushima 50. Ken Watanabe. Nice. I haven't seen a lot of, almost no Ken Watanabe, I think, movies. But it's kind of still, I feel like if Ken Watanabe is there, it must be a good movie. I'm wondering. I mean, I have seen Last Samurai, of course. And I'm wondering if I've seen any other. I think so, probably, but I just can't remember now. Okay, then, while you're all typing, let's speak about what's happening next on the channel. So I'm still working on the video about Obaste here, a town close to here, which has rice terraces, very nice. Talked to a local there. He played on the shakuhachi, sitting in front of the rice fields. He used to work until he was 58, then he quit because he was fed up by capitalist society and so on, and then became a farmer. And then he said, because he's a farmer, he can now every evening spend the time with the shakuhachi, the Japanese bamboo flute. And he sat there and played and kindly allowed me to film him. And a couple of other things I mentioned before: footbath, food, castle, things like that. Share your thoughts on Yakuza. Well, I've seen one in Nagano only once, where I was like, oh, at the convenience store. Older gentleman, smaller, maybe one head's like until here maybe. I was like, oh yeah, he's missing a little bit of his fingers. And it was hot outside, and he had like a short sleeved shirt, and the tattoo just, so when the shirt was like this, you didn't see it, and when it's like this, you did see it. Like, okay, it's not like a work accident, it's probably a Yakuza. And then maybe I have seen some in Roppongi at some point. Not sure if it was Yakuza or just some misbehaving kids. And maybe in some area around Shinjuku Station once. Don't remember. I have a great story though. In 2009, on this day in 2009, 12 years ago, I arrived in Japan. So on my birthday, I departed Germany, and on this day, one day after, I arrived in Japan for the first time. And I was in a group of Aikido people, and one of my teachers went to a cafe and asked the guy there if the place is taken, and he sit down. And my teacher, usually like polo shirt or so, or colored shirt, sunglasses, sits down, and then the other guy looks at him, mafia. So turns out the other guy was like some Yakuza boss, and he thought my teacher was like a mafia guy, which he wasn't, of course. So they had a talk and so on. And he said at one point, one guy came to them, and the Yakuza guy was just like, and he just like was gone. Like, okay, they are talking and gone. So very strict hierarchy, of course. That's that story. And are people afraid of them? I don't know. I think it's not like they will kill you or anything, because of course that's just trouble, and they will get in trouble if they cause trouble. That's my feeling, at least. They have legal parts of their business, and I think they're more popular in biggest maybe in Kobe or so. I think the biggest family is Yamaguchi Gumi, so it may be from Yamaguchi, which is southernmost I think prefecture of Honshu, this biggest island. but yeah, they're not so visible, at least here. And at one point we almost purchased an apartment. And there, when we did the purchase, we explicitly had to say we are not Yakuza and we are not related to a Yakuza-like organization. So that's there. And afraid, I don't know. Sometimes when you see somebody very tattooed and they are Japanese, then it's like, oh, Yakuza, Yakuza. But it's not like, wow. Usually. Of course, if they're in groups and they have like knives out or so, then it will be a different story. But I think generally it's okay. I mean, people probably don't search contact or so. Although, of course, it would be a great story for video. You must have watched Last Samurai. Yes. Godzilla. Probably. Detective Pikachu, no. Inception, yes. The King and I. Maybe. Batman Begins. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, Ra's al Ghul, ne? And Memoirs of a Geisha. Yes. True. Yeah, that's Tashkani. Yes, I did watch some of them. Okay, Ronnie can imagine that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's also kind of sensible. So I probably, if you would make something like that where you reveal something, then you would have to be careful. But if you just kind of collect and summarize information that's available about Yakuza, probably it's fine. Hopefully. But still. But some channels, they interview like ex-Yakuza and so on. So that exists. Now let me have another fig. And we are 19 now, so we are increasing. Very nice. Thank you and welcome to all the new people. If you have any topics, anything you would like to talk about, just let me know. And we talk about it. So usually in this live stream, we go into any direction, whatever you want to, whatever, from wherever the wind blows. Don't know if it's your birthday or just the anniversary in Japan, but happy birthday. Thank you so much. It is my birthday. It was my birthday yesterday, so kind of is my birthday. And I didn't mention, actually it was also my wedding anniversary the day before my birthday. So 2 days ago. 2 days ago, 5 years ago. 5 years and 2 days ago, I got married. When I was still 28. And then 1 day later, I turned 29. What's the most surprising favorite thing unique to Japan, wife not included? That's hard. I think that's hard because when you live in Japan, then you get used to all this stuff. Most surprising is another hard one. I think most surprising, the thing I can come up with is leg space. So Japanese trains, also K-cars usually, when you sit in the back or so. So the Japanese style cars, these boxy things. And Japanese trains, Shinkansen. Today I was on a local train from Matsumoto to Nagano, which has like a special, only reserved but local, which has like better view outside. It has so much space, it's unbelievable. It's like this. It's like more than first class probably on a plane. That's like amazing. Like on a Shinkansen, even if you're like in the normal class, economy, so to say, you have so much leg space, you can have your suitcase in front of you where your legs should be and still sit comfortably. And that's just fantastic. Like in Germany, no, it's terrible. Depends, they have a lot of different trains, but it's terrible. By the way, you came to Japan after completing your bachelor's or master's, correct? Yes, after. So I moved to Japan after I came here for the first time during my bachelor's, and moved here after my bachelor's. I graduated in 2010 and moved here in 2016. So quite some time later, yeah. That being said, because I have a Japanese spouse, it would have worked without when it comes to visa. However, if you don't have that, it may be a little bit harder. Not impossible. But yeah, degree is pretty helpful. And of course, also if you don't want to teach English or so, if you have, probably since you asked about languages, if you go into a technical direction, that's probably a job that is wanted here, so that's helpful. This has been the most enjoyable hour I've ever spent with you. Thank you so much, Patrick. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and sorry for not being more enjoyable in the previous hours. I love to talk about your visits to Japan, old townships, memories of Bavaria and wonderful beer, tips about camera, equipment, and all the advice about their qualities. Thank you for your kind words. Yeah, and we have just started with the cameras, I think. So there's a lot to say, but it probably gets boring for like 15 out of the 17 people here. Loved all the other videos, but this time I was able to participate live. Yeah, first time, right? So, I mean, really nice that you always take the time to actually look at the live stream after the fact. So really appreciate that as well. And of course, always comment on the new videos and so on. It's really, really appreciated. Have you noticed that historically the Japanese color spectrum was much less defined than in the West, to the point that green and blue was the same, except today you could green apple in Japanese, yeah, or green, yeah, exactly. There are also green melons. I mean, green melons are blue, and traffic lights are blue and so on. Yeah, it's different. It's I think it's luminance or something, not luminance, but you know. The different ways or different cultures apparently define colors differently by warmth, or I don't know really. And I know that one I know, yeah. Happy birthday from Tokini Andy. Hey Andy. Thank you, and good to have you here again. And Patrick needs to buy some figs. That's a good idea. IT guys are the most demanding in Japan currently, right? Have the most demand, I guess. Maybe. I think the demand is pretty high, especially in the populated areas, Tokyo and so on. Well, if yes, then what's the reason behind that? I think there's just a lot of, Japan has a lot of big companies that are rather slow, which big companies tend to be. And they realize that IT is really important, especially when there's a pandemic. If you want to sell stuff, and so they try to level up, and I think that's it. And then at the same time, there are not so many young people, and maybe not everybody wants to do that, and that's how it happens, I think. So currently, it's a fantastic market if you are an employee. Just got here from Ricardo. How are you, man? Planning to visit abandoned houses or hotels? Hey, Ricardo. I'm fantastic, thank you. I did consider. So last week, and I talked with Andy on the live stream, who's also here again today, about this area here in the mountain, and there's some abandoned stuff. I thought about going there, but today I went to another place called Narayuku, which is on the Nakasendo. It's an trail which connected or still connects Kyoto and Tokyo. So it was very important back then, not so much today, but this town, Narayuku, has still a lot of preserved old-style houses. So I went there. I didn't make a video, but I talked to a lot of people and made contacts and so on. And I got introduced to other people as well. And now making a plan, then coordinate with the Tourist Information Center there. And then come back and make interviews and so on and show more or less what it's like living there, what the motivation of the people is, what's uniting them, connects them, why they are there, and so on. So I think if I do it well, then it will be a great video. Yeah, but no abandoned house or hotel this time. However, there may be something a little bit in the next video. Green was considered a type of blue, I believe. Yes. On green lights in traffic called blue. Oh, yes, that's true. Aomori is another example. Ah, good point. I never thought of that. Probably. So Aomori is in blue forest. Hey, how is your life like there now as the vaccines are being rolled out? Same. So I don't know where the level is now. I think 1 week ago it was like 2.4%, so totally no effect at all. The state of emergency has been extended. There's also no change on that front. So no change for me. I wanted to go to Kyoto next week because then the state of emergency should have ended, but no, it won't. It hasn't ended. So whenever, maybe next month or so, I will be able to go. But generally nothing changed. Still working from home as well. Different games this year. I am doing well. You seem tired again though. Yeah, that's because I got up at 5 today, 5 a.m. So too early. Daniel's chat is delayed. Oh no. Oh, Yuki's sister, so Andy's girlfriend's sister, got the vaccine today. Okay. But she's working at a nursing home, so that's why I imagine. I see. Yeah, I have my friends in Germany, which are my year age or younger. They already got it. So much faster there. Did you have any scary or weird experience involving Yuri? No. No. Not yet. The thing is though, with abandoned things in Japan, trespassing in Japan is punishable, I think up to 3 years or so. And or you pay a lot of money, in the worst case, which probably won't happen, but if you have a channel, if you want to grow that and so on, it's probably a good idea if you don't go inside, if it's something that, you know, somebody may own. So there's some limitations, and then probably, if you don't go inside, you probably don't meet the Yure. Same in the States, most people I know got it, says Andy. Yeah, exactly. I think overall Japan has been lucky in this pandemic so far, also, especially of course compared to the States, to India, Brazil, and so on. It's not, it could have been executed better, I guess, but with the vaccination. But all in all, we can't complain. Yeah. Had some friends who were doing abandoned buildings and they decided to stop because legal it's a bit iffy. Yeah. So when I was in Chikuma City last week, I ran into an abandoned hotel, and there was like, it's currently being deconstructed. What do you call it? Teared down, deconstructed. And they had clearly said, don't, trespassing not allowed, cameras in operation, and things like that. So I guess that's also because it's dangerous if something, it's like really doesn't look safe at all. Have you ever considered trying to do in the future a IRL in real live stream, visiting something, eating someplace else? It could be interesting to have that in a real life perspective. I probably, if I were to go somewhere, for example, let's say today when I went to this town, I stayed there overnight, then I would probably do that. At least if I'm in a different place, show you the hotel room. Maybe if I'm happen to be eating, then show you the food. Maybe outside or so. Yeah, that's for certain. Sure, I would do that. but not like, I don't force it. So if it happens, then it happens, but not, it won't be an only in Japan Go 2. And yeah, it can be dangerous for sure. Nah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it's, and also in Nagano, there are a lot of abandoned places, unfortunately, in this city. The real, or sometimes you don't know, it looks abandoned, but then there's a very new car in front. So the real estates are supposed to tell if something happened inside the apartment, but I heard from other YouTubers that sometimes they don't. They are supposed to tell. So if somebody lost his or her life in an apartment or house, then they are legally, I think, required to tell you. And I don't know if they sometimes don't. Maybe. I can tell. But maybe if it's suspiciously cheap, then they may not be mentioning something. Who knows? But this may also be one of the reasons why buildings get like reconstructed, apart from safety. The state of Ohio is trying to give away 1 million in a raffle lottery for 5 randomly chosen people who have gotten vaccinated to help get those hesitant people. Yeah, that may be a good idea. Interesting idea. I mean, a little bit sad, of course, but I hope it works. Different Games says, by the way, just saw you now the title. Happy birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was yesterday, actually, but I mean, almost today. Kind of today. What is the big craze in Japan currently? I remember evening being transparent like Coca-Cola clear a few years ago. I remember evening being transparent. Maybe I don't understand completely. Oh, it's a typo. Everything, I see. Everything being transparent like Coca-Cola a few years ago. I see. I don't know what's the big craze. Yes, everything. I have no idea. What do we have right now, Andy? I'm in also in Japan. You should know. Why are you asking? I don't know. What is there? Crystal Pepsi. It was bubble tea. Yeah, it was bubble tea. Crystal Pepsi, Crystal stuff, Crystal Coke. I don't know. Oh, nothing because of Corona. It's also kind of how. I mean, they have the standards, I think, like melon, Fanta. But. Oh, Ricardo Furtado. Happy birthday. That's for the beer man. Thank you so much, Ricardo. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no trend right now in Japan. Just Corona. Nobody's going outside. Nobody's allowed to purchase soft drinks. Also, Aminux thinks the same way. By the way, Andy, so as I quickly mentioned, probably by the end of the month or so, I will go back to Narai and interview people there. And maybe, I think maybe it would be good to have like a second person to help out or so. So maybe if you kind of want to do something like that. I don't know though. I don't know. I haven't made any plans, but thank you, Andy. Thank you so much. Beer money for birthdays are a must. Okay, next time I see you, I give you beer money. Andy's birthday is on the 20th of March, in case you didn't know. Now you know that. Thank you so much. I had a beer, by the way. Import beer. This is about 500 yen. So perfect match. Both of you. And I bought more than one, so no worries. It's well invested. Let's get this man a beer. Thank you. So because Andy's here, I haven't plugged him yet. Andy also has a YouTube channel. He has now close to 16,000 probably already subscribers. And he teaches Japanese. started with the Genki series, is now done with that, and starts with Quartet soon. Started today, soon. So a little bit more intermediate stuff. And he also has a Patreon right now, but will move, I think, to another platform soon. However, it's a very, very vibrant community, I think, on Patreon. Next Sunday, okay. More than 600, almost 700 people, so pretty big, especially for his channel size. So this shows how good of a job he's doing, how much value he's providing. So if you want to learn Japanese, happen to have the Genki books then maybe take a look at Andy's channel. Also, if you don't, there are a couple of videos that give good tips for what you should do for learning Japanese in the beginning and so on. Next Sunday, okay. Alles Gute zum Geburtstag from Jassi war das. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank. And heart from Andy. Yes, that's the plug. You can take some pretty cash from the whatever you choose fund for beer. Thank you, Aminox. I might do, but maybe I just invested into a channel again. Probably. Also, I like how we started with like 7 people or so, and now it's like constantly going up. We're 20. Maybe we even reach 25 if we continue for another hour. We don't. Yeah, I will let you know about the interview, Andy. So as I said, I don't know yet. I have to make like a script or storyboard and share it with the tourist information center there, and then they contact people and ask them. We already asked a couple today, but then we'll see. It's whatever you choose. Exactly. Yeah. Beer or beer or drone, essentially. Okay, Andy always down to film something. Excellent. Thank you. Oh, Ricardo subscribed to Andy. Not having enough due to my bachelor's degree, time probably, but I want to study more Japanese. Yeah, I think it's time well spent if you're interested in Japan, even if it's not so much. I think the Genki books bring you to a level where you can have conversations, so that's pretty decent. So it's pretty good bang for the buck if you consider the big picture. Searched Andy's channel up. How I learned Japanese with visual novels really hit home for me. Nice. Petty cash is money used for miscellaneous spending in an office business for lunch or something. Oh, good to know. Beer or drone? Yeah. Beer delivering drone. Now I have to say thank you. I just discovered a great channel, Tokini Andy. I don't know how I never saw your channel. Wow, Andy, now you have like 3 or 4 new subs. There you go. So 500 yen well spent. I don't have anything to drink, so I will have a banana. Beer delivering drone beats beer or drone. Yes. Okay, Ricardo wants to improve his Japanese to speak to his wife's family. I know the very basic at the moment, hiragana, katakana, and about 15 kanji. Probably you know more, you just don't realize. Probably once you learn them in a structured way, you see, oh, I actually knew this already, and so on. Like 1, 2, 3. Nothing beats a good banana. Yes. It's kind of just right. Pretty sweet already, but not that it's like falling apart. If you're serious about learning Japanese, consider checking Andy's Patreon too. Really amazing resources there too, beyond the videos. There you go. Andy thought he was buying me a beer and instead got advertising. Win-win. Yeah, who knows? Maybe you get a Patreon and then you got your money back. Yeah, I mean, I think the way to do Patreon, so Patreon is a platform for supporting creators. For example, the way to do that, if you're small and you want to have a big or big enough base there, is to offer a product like Andy does. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. And so obviously Andy did a good job. People are going there. He provides value on YouTube, and which indicates he will do that as well. And it seems to work. In case you didn't know, Japanese Journey has a Patreon as well. I did know. Thank you for mentioning it. Albeit, I think Andy has a much more consistent schedule there. So in the beginning, I was also I think at least once or twice a week I posted something. But then since I had to take it slower, it has gotten slower there as well, unfortunately. It was pretty confusing when I started learning Japanese. 1,000 in Japanese is pronounced sen, and 100 in Portuguese, my native language, is also pronounced sen. Oh, I didn't know. Of course, also check out Japanese Journey's Patreon. Please, feel invited. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, those patrons. How many are we there? Like 12, 13 or so. So it's like almost as many as in this live stream. One day it will be more. But as I said, unfortunately I can't provide the content there in the frequency I would like to. Just search how bread is pronounced. It actually has Portuguese origins. Or is it piao? Maybe pa. Actually, a few of Japanese words come from Portuguese, but not many. Yeah, I think so too. I heard also arigato also. Or domo arigato maybe is obrigado also. I don't know if it's true. Someday, yes, someday. I mean, I know. Who knows? I mean, probably for me, it's more connected to stronger channel growth because I don't offer product like Andy does. So if for some reason one video would explode, I would get a lot of subscribers and also Patreon supporters, then I could buy this additional income, put more time and effort into everything. Hopefully. If you're polite in Danish, you say mangetak to say thank you. Don't say this in Japan. Mangetak. It's true. It's different games. Bread is also pao. Pao. Mange is something very different. Kind of close with I mean, I don't know how you pronounce it, but your product is your content and your personality. Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, but Andy has a stronger product, I think, because he doesn't need to rely on that. Oh, hey, GTV. Hey, Ken. Good to have you here. Long time no talk. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the wishes. Take it easy. Okay, you too. Greetings to... Where was your house? Saitama, right? Saitama. And so, in case you didn't know, GTV Japan, if you're into game-related stuff, especially, Nintendo and so on, he makes very in-depth content that probably most other channels never cover. Because he's in Japan, because he speaks Japanese, and he has been in the game pun intended, for quite some time. He has really in-depth videos. So, well worth a visit if you're into that. And he also was the main guest in my video about the tsunami in 2011, which I published last year. Because he happened to live in Fukushima when it happened. Mange, maybe? No, that would be French-ish. Means to eat. Huh. When Japan was locked off from the world, the only people that would visit is the Portuguese, where they got loanwords. I believe that many of them are also written in hiragana instead of katakana. Yeah, exactly right. Because of all the history. French. Maybe French. I see. That was a great video, says Andy. Thank you. That was the first time actually I used two cameras. This one and this one here. This one is probably close to the one you used last year. I don't know if you have a new one now, Andy. I know you mentioned once you want to switch to Sony, but I don't know if you have already. Anyway, great camera, both of them. This one, that one, also Sony, of course. Yeah. Japanese Hulk Hogan manga reviews. Yes, for example. Never expected this kind of combo. I know the virus made travel extremely hard, but let me ask you if a recently graduated bachelor's student wants to do the internship here. Is it possible, or do they prefer people with more experience? Yeah, it's possible if it's an internship, I think. I don't know how to get one, because that's out of my depth. I have never done that. But it's possible. I don't know if you will be able to come here should you get it right now in this situation. So that's probably something you would have to research, or just ask your closest embassy or so. And the Portuguese introduced fire weapons to Japan, which eventually led to the unification of Japan. Yeah, fire weapons. Good old fire weapons. Manga comes from Italian mostly. Interesting. Another thing I didn't know. Still using the old one. Definitely want the Sony still. Yeah, another one, I don't know if he's still here. Ninja Monkey purchased the A7S III. But they didn't have a great opportunity to use it yet. So, yeah, and today I was at KS Denki and also took a look at it again. It's nice, but still, it's like, how can I justify that right now? Probably not. Oshiroi says different games. And Patrick didn't know it. Thank you. The question. Okay, yeah, Abuma, maybe. Is that how it's Abuma? Yang-san. I hope it works out. Oh, also Andy can't justify it with talking head comment either, really. Yeah, right, because like, if it doesn't move, then probably you don't need autofocus, you don't need IBIS, you don't need a flippy screen. I haven't even touched it yet, but still I want it. Yeah, probably if I would get it, probably I would import it from the US. One, because I don't want the shutter sound. Because if you, usually I think cameras bought in Japan have the shutter sound, at least phones have. That means like, which is fine, of course, in Japan, but then you go to Germany or so and everybody's like, why don't you switch it off? I can't. It's like limitation here. And it's cheaper, way cheaper in the US. So I would probably order it there, have it sent here for free on like Moment or so. But still, it would be like more than $5,000 with a lens. Have you watched The Age of the Samurai? I watched and it's not bad. Actually, I like it. Okay, I haven't. Age of the Samurai. Okay, we'll take a look. Oh, from Netflix, I see. Ah, okay. Just in February released. Okay, may take a look. Yeah, way cheaper in the US. It's interesting. The Sony is obviously from Japan, but it's more expensive in Japan than in the US. The pervert sound, yes. So the reason apparently that cameras on phones and so on make this sound, this taking a picture sound, is because perverts used to utilize this tool to take pictures under skirts, like on the escalator or something, like under the skirt, and then take a picture, and now people hear it, at least. It's too late, of course, but I mean, they see that and they can scream and so on. Used to. Sony right now is probably more an American company than a Japanese one. I don't know. I have no idea about Sony. I had one of my previous bosses worked at Sony. He did the software keyboard for the PlayStation 3. And he said because in Japan there's the last train, which is around usually like 1 or so p.m. And he said he took many times he took a taxi home. So that's pretty sad, I feel. Funny, I just asked my wife what's mange. She was laughing a lot. Now that is too funny. We're 17 now. Nice. Went down a little bit still. Let me see. Do I still have anything to tell you tonight? I can't come up with anything. Interesting. Fun fact about Japanese mobile phones: they are specifically designed to be taken with you into shower or bath. Interesting. Didn't know. Did you do anything for your birthday? Yeah, so it was actually yesterday, and we got to, do you know Skite? There's a restaurant, which is so nice. And we came at like, when was it? 1 or so, 1 p.m. And there was nobody else. So just us. This is a very nice restaurant next to a river here in Nagano City, and has in its like garden like an old bathhouse, which is not used anymore for that purpose, but for I think tea ceremony now. Nice little garden. And on the second floor are for reservations, so separate rooms. And first floor is normal, non-reserved. They have a tatami area and a chair area. We took the tatami, nobody else was there. I had the biggest and most expensive steak. And my wife had sukiyaki, so hot pot. Nabe. Very good. All of it. Would do again. But very expensive. So because the day before my birthday we had wedding anniversary, and it was the 5th one. So in Japan, if you get married, then people give you money. Your friends give usually like about $300. For family members might be $500. Couples, of course, pay more. Parents pay a lot. And because we had like 5 years, then the parents pay again, but not so much. We got like $100 or so. So we took that and spent it and some. Yeah, that was that. So maybe, in hindsight, maybe you need to use your beer money for that, Andy. And this place I've been to only twice. And both of the times were, I think, in 2017. So 4 years ago. Has been some time. But it was good. The bathtubs in Japan are pretty good. Last time I've been there, I saw a high-tech one. Fill the water and maintain warm automatically. Pretty comfy. Yes, true. In Germany, it would be nothing of that. You just say hot or cold. And no idea how many degrees. You just test it with your fingers. And then you fill it up and then you get in. And if you forget it, then it gets cold. But here's like, I want this level, I want this temperature, and it stays there. Or if it doesn't, then you can warm it up again, heat it up again. And that's it. Parents pay dowry. I don't know what dowry is, but probably that's kind of like this wedding gift. Then yes. What's the name of it again? Might have to check it out. Skite, right? Like as in skiyaki. I want to, that's not good. I want to chat here, write it here, but then it says sign in to chat because I'm not in YouTube but in a separate program. I don't sign in now. But skite, as in ski, and and store. Okay, if Different for Games ever goes to Japan to live, I will not have any friends to not pay anything. Yes, exactly. So it's like, but on the other hand, you know, it kind of gives everybody the possibility to have a decent wedding. So usually I think wedding planners are used, which is like maybe like from 10,000 upwards, I guess. I think 20, 30, maybe kind of average price. We did not do that. We had like only the close family and was still like almost 10 grand. So it's good if people pay. And yeah, Andy says, very common in Japan in the late 20s to be wedding poor. They get invited to like 3 or 4 weddings in 1 year and they're out $900 to $1,200. Yeah. Yeah. Now there's Corona, so you have like an excuse like, your parents are from Tokyo, right? Yeah, then I would prefer not to come. The most expensive meal I've had was in Dubrovnik. Oh wow, in Croatia. My meal with one drink was $140. The 2 other people I was with had $180 each. It's a whole different experience. Wow. Especially because I imagine Croatia to be generally a little bit cheaper, on the cheaper side. I've never been to Dubrovnik, but I know it's a beautiful place. And I had a little more expensive, I think. When probably 200 or so when I had Wagyu here also 4 years ago. By the way, how was your friend making experience during your first few months in Japan? Mine, and not so good, because I worked from home, didn't speak a lot of Japanese, and of course that doesn't help. So being at home all the time, or most of the time, not speak Japanese, so it doesn't work so much. Andy, damn, yeah. That's something, ne? How do cultures clash in your homes regarding medical matters? I'm of Western upbringing, so medicines, doctors, and such are the way. But wifey is Japanese upbringing, so herbs, wife tales, and such. For us, it's the other way. If I can, I don't go to a doctor because my experience have not been good. And I frankly think most of them are just not good. There's not a thing of like traditional medicine against something. It's like, yeah. Anyway. And my wife is much more like, we need to go to the doctor and then kusuri, medicine, and so on. Same in Romania. Oh, interesting. I did not know in Romania. Like 200 to 300 euros per wedding. So expensive. I also think like probably in Romania the average salary is lower than in Japan. So probably it hits you even more, even harder. But then again, Japan, people in their 20s also don't have the most. They're overworked, so they don't take you seriously. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, some seem like pretty good, and then you find out they made a totally wrong diagnosis. But yeah, it's pretty quick sometimes. Something I don't understand. I understand, but I don't like are dentists here at least. When you do the cleaning, they do like here at least the ones I know in Nagano. First they do the upper side, then the lower side in another appointment, and then in a third appointment they check again. And then when I was in Yokohama and went to the dentist, 30 minutes, everything clean, out. That's it. Pay once. And that's it. And like, wow, yeah, they can do it actually. I went another time and I arrived like 5 to 10 minutes early. Exactly on time I'm in. 10, 15, 20 minutes later I'm out. So great. The average salary in Romania is quite possibly lower than Japan. Be right back googling this. Oh, thank you. Text 3 times. Yeah, exactly. Like, why? It's silly. Yeah, that's just to take your money. Some places are way more. But I can imagine. I think in Japan there are too many dentists, and this might be a reason. They're just like, yeah, we just need 5 appointments now instead of 1. For whatever, your cavity. In the US, I would expect a wedding to cost between $20,000 to $30,000 US. The national average seems to be $33K. Oof. This is why you should go to Vegas for a drive-through wedding. Yeah. Depending on which city you are in, the standard of living will be different. Of course. Yeah, but here in Nagano, they have lots of big like buildings or like Harry Potter like churches, which are just for weddings. So it's a thing. You see even TV commercials for wedding areas. So also the one we had our wedding in is pretty close. So Nagano, there's a very big famous temple, Zenkoji, and this one we had our wedding is very close. And I imagine it's rather pricey in comparison, but my wife handled that. That was comfortable. I did the one in Germany, she did Japan. Depending on which city, I read that, average salary in Romania is 675 euros take home, and in Japan it's 1,930. Alright, so that's quite a difference there. 3 times as much. Are Japanese fans of cryptocurrencies? So I don't really know. I know I get cryptocurrency advertisements on Facebook. So some, yeah, but I don't know. Can you go to City Hall for civil union? You have to go to City Hall, yeah. But the ceremony, as Andy says, which most people do later, some even way later, especially if they like just before Corona had the City Hall thing. That's the expensive part. But most people do that. Not everybody. Some just say, okay, no, we want to go travel instead. That's that's the memories we want to have together for our unification. And but yeah, City Hall is probably not expensive. So we got married in Germany first. That means we did not have to do. Had to go to register, but we didn't have another official wedding here. But we did have the ceremony, both in Germany and Japan. Okay, Andy thinks crypto is popular. I see. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people know certainly, but I don't know how many Japanese own crypto or so. I mean, after all, the Bitcoin founder's name or nickname is Satoshi Nakamoto, right? So Japan is like in the design from the beginning. Oh, thank you so much, Sorin Topala. Big bowl of skia, 3 cheese gyudon on me. Thank you. 3 cheese skia. I don't know how much it is. 20. I also don't know how much 50 ron is. I even don't know what kind of currency that is. But color says probably more than $10. So really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now we can go to Skia or Matsuya or something. People can go to City Hall. Ultimately, it needs to be registered there, so you would really be skipping the common expensive ceremony. Yeah. Which city do you consider to be the best place to live in Japan? For me, it's Nagano. And that's, of course, because of me and my wife and so on. So I was thinking to my wife, hey, where could we live? Probably Tokyo is not the best because it's so cramped, so many people and so on. And most people live in Tokyo but don't want to for work. So I was considering, hey, maybe I like Matsumoto. Maybe you should go somewhere completely different where both of us haven't been before. But then I thought about if we were to move to Germany, of course I would want to live close to my family and friends, just my hometown, or close to that, because that would be the main reason. It's not like Germany. I like the weather so much or the culture. It's because of the people. That's what actually makes the connection. And so then I understood, yeah, of course it makes sense if we have the choice to move to Nagano City, where my wife is from. And that's what we did, and that's why it's the best for us. Where it's the best to live, other than that, I can't really say because I only lived here and in Yokohama. And out of the two, for me, at least for us, it's here. But then, of course, it also depends on what you want. Yakine. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Sorry. 50 ron is about 10 euros. Wow, thank you so much. 10 euros. Yeah, that should be enough for 3 cheese gyudon. Not Tokyo for sure, says different games. I mean, it all depends on what you want. If you want like really intense city life and you want all the opportunities that Tokyo offers in all the different directions, nightlife, exploration, people, diverse people also, more international. That could be it. If you want more, like if you're old like me now, then maybe some more countryside thing would be nice. In fact, so we are living like in the maybe closer area to the station. It's like within a 30-minute walk area. And even here, I think like, yeah, we could move a little bit further, like on the other side of the river where there are not so many houses or it's not so dense. So maybe it's because of my upbringing, because I lived on a kind of farm until I was 10. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just old and stuff. Or children. And Andy also confirms Nagano is thumbs up. When Starlink really becomes a thing, I would love to live deep in the countryside. Yeah, but Japan, it should not be. It should have connection anywhere. It's Japan. I don't know how it's in Hokkaido, but here, even in the Shinkansen tunnels now, like a couple of years ago, still no connection, but now no problem. Not for the Futsu, the normal trains, but for the Shinkansen. Have people been moving out of cities in Japan due to remote work at home? I hear that it was happening in the US cities and London. I heard that it happened. I don't know the current numbers, but yeah, last year I read something like that. Certainly I would be one of them. I saw a certain video about Japan, saw a lot of people wearing masks and thought it was shot during this pandemic period. And as the year posted, and it was in 2017. Oh no. Certain video was... Okay. If it was my video about wearing masks, it was published in 2016, so it can't be that. Ancient, yeah, it's like way back. Can you believe how old this channel is? Back, like when I watched my videos back then, it's like, oh yeah, terrible screen presence, but I was so young. Countryside, I guess, is a bit more comfortable for living, but not so much for working though. I went to Gunma Prefecture and it was so relaxing and green. Yeah, I think so. I mean, comfortable is of course, again, depends. Maybe if you're really countryside, you don't have a supermarket or something close to you, then it's not so comfy. But yeah, I imagine Gunma has great places. Andy says internet is fine pretty much anywhere. Yeah. I mean, Andy Aminox also lives in Japan, in Hokkaido. So I don't know how it's there. I've never been there. Fun fact, the Romanian currency RON is called a leu, which would be translated to lion. Wow, the more you know. Nice. You gotta be kidding me. Fun fact. That's such a dad joke, Daniel. Love it. Nice. Yeah, dad joke. I also love that. Japanese language is really dad joke friendly because it has such a limited range of syllables. So I do that all the time, and my wife's always like, "That's not funny." But sometimes he's like smiling against her will initially, and I'm like, "Yes, you thought that was funny, right? Didn't you?" Lights on. Okay. Gunma is fine, man. Combini everywhere. And Andy imagines Hokkaido might not have that wonderful internet just yet, I guess. Heh. I don't know. Here in Nagano, I moved here 5 years ago. I told my wife, fast internet would be good because work from home and so on. And then I checked it and like, do another speed test. And like, okay. Like Germany, if it's fast, then maybe it's like 50 Mbit or so in a city. And that was like 500. And like, oh, good. Realistically, I mean, gigabit connection, 500 in down and up. So synchronous. I'm like, yeah, good. I accept. And same here. Also, we have like fiber. This house is 10 years old. Still, we have like a fiber box in the house. Name 3 things Japan is better than Germany and the opposite. Fast internet. Trains on time. Leg space. The other way. Bread, butter, beer. That was pretty one-sided each, right? Jesus, that was bad, Tanya. Way out in the mountains at least. Yeah, I can imagine, probably. I mean, but probably also Nagano if you're like way on the mountain, then. Champ. German bread is so good. Yeah, bread also. I mean, depends. My wife doesn't like it. She likes Japanese bread. Kind of expected, but I don't. There's a German bakery in Tokyo, and sometimes I get them to deliver here. Actually, the guy running it is from Nagano City, but he doesn't deliver it personally. Oh, Andy misses it. Have you been to Germany, Andy? I have some German colleagues, and every time the internet craps out, I just assume it's Vodafone being trash again. Yeah, especially mobile in the cities, Munich and so on. It's terrible in Germany. You have a connection, but you don't get served because there are always like not enough towers to serve all the connections. Yeah. A German saying that beer is worse in another country. How unsurprising. Yeah. I mean, depends on the beer. There's also crap beer in Germany, I suppose. Especially if it's not from Bavaria, from the south of Germany. At least, for me, for my taste. But this one I had today, this one here, I like a lot. And I didn't expect to like it so much until I had it a couple of months ago for the first time in a couple of years. I was like, wow, that's really good. And actually, I had it while I was answering questions from patrons on Patreon. We did a Q&A. Yeah. Because I bought this one and I did not have a bottle opener. So while answering the questions, I purchased this fabulous pink bottle opener at Don Quixote. and then I could drink the beer. It was so good. What are the odds? Nice. Yeah, exactly right. I talked to him. He was like, Japanese and so on. Then I asked him if he speaks German, and then immediately everything changed. It's like, then we just spoke German, and he because he worked in Germany for 2 years. Yeah. And apparently he liked it, so the kind of connection got better, and he's like, yeah, you can order online and we will like send it to Nagano and all that. Andy spent a few weeks there when he was traveling around Europe in 2011. Oh, nice. Didn't know you did that. We could have met. Jenny and German Weisswurst are very good. I see. Yeah. I like them sometimes, but yeah, I almost get a little bit of like my stomach gets upset, so I don't have them a lot. But yeah, in my university, every Friday they had, so Weisswurst, translated white sausage, usually should be eaten before 12 a.m. So, and what starts with Weisswurst, white sausage, is also Weissbier, white beer, right? Like this one. Actually, I like the one with the yeast. So at my university, every Friday they served Weißwurstfrühstück, white sausage breakfast, and which means the sausages, a pretzel, and the beer. So like one lecture from 8:15 to 9:45, and then people went and had their beer and white sausages and so on. I'm like, yeah, that maybe doesn't help, but we in Bavaria, I think even at some famous Bavarian car company, they also had it in the cafeteria. I don't know if the beer, but definitely the sausages on Fridays. Thank you very much, Basin. Sorry, I'm still struggling, but yeah, thank you too. Daniel is looking to move into the city. It seems like it should be better for me because the value of my place in the suburbs has risen more than the values in the city, very close to be ready to list for sale. Nice. Yeah, I hope it works just perfectly for you. Sodin Topala, that's my friend's favorite beer too. Meanwhile, I like Asahi, because it tastes less bitter. Interesting, but this is not bitter at all. Anyway, Asahi. Who likes? I thought usually people say Japanese beer, Sapporo is the best or so. Asahi. I mean, it depends, of course, on the situation. If it's like you've been outside, hot summer, then it gets cooler in the evening, and you go to an izakaya or so with friends, and then you get your beer in kind of this size glass, so not super big. The glass itself is cool, fantastic level, attention to detail, just perfectly, and then that's good. That I can totally understand how that's a good beer. The internet in Sapporo is amazing, but because the population density is so low in most of Hokkaido, the internet elsewhere is questionable at best. Asahi is the most popular beer in Japan, right? Ichiban, yo. Yeah. I think so. I hear it most of the time. And they also have a lot of variations, I think. Super dry. Yeah. But I think, at least for my taste, Sapporo is better. I had like last week, I talked about, maybe 2 weeks ago, I talked about a beer from this area, Shinshu, which I purchased. Black beer, dark beer, was one of the worst I had. It was like one sip and that's it. Too bad, but was not acceptable. Isn't Sapporo more popular? I don't know. How to hack Japanese mind to be friend with him or her? Yeah, that's difficult. I mean, slowly I feel like I start to understand the hints my wife gives me, at least for certain areas. But I have no idea. I mean, generally that's, especially when it comes to the other gender, I don't think, don't Don't expect me to understand German women, for example, just because I'm German. Asahi has the most market share with 45%, it seems. Pretty sure it's Asahi Super Dry, probably. I liked Yebisu for a while. Me too, the multi one, but recently more Sapporo. Elminox also Sapporo, yeah, for obviously reasons. Also, I think Sapporo sells a Sapporo only version in Sapporo, so in the city, which is only available there, if I'm not mistaken. Samurai Right likes Asahi. Asahi fans rise up, wow, so many. Patrick says, speaking from experience, German beer is best. Yosh, my friend, great message to the people here. Belgium is second, Asahi is third, so smooth and light. There is though one monastery in Belgium which is said to have the best beer. And they have, like, I think you can order and then only have like 2 or 3, what is that? I still have the can opener here. 2 or 3 beer boxes or so. And when you order, you have to tell, like, I come with this car, with this number plate, and then get that and so on. And I would love to have it one day. But I don't know if it's actually that good. Still, I would try that. Maybe make a video about it if it was in Japan, but it's not. Daniel says they're all fine enough. I'm not too picky as long as it's not Bud Light or something. This is now a beer stream, yeah. I mean, many people say Sapporo, or some people say Sapporo tastes close to Heineken, which if you say Heineken in Bavaria, you are immediately disqualified yourself. So I guess it's whatever you're used to, and then you like that or not, and then you think something else is great or not. Come to Sapporo Brewery and have all the Genghis Khan and beer you can eat and drink in 2 hours. Great fun. Nice. That makes for a great video, I'm sure. Especially in the end, when you're like drunk and stuffed. Belgian beer is too strong. It's delicious, but it destroys me. Ha! It's a case with 24 bottles, says Patrick. Okay. Have you been there by any chance, Patrick? Belgian beer, yeah, I mean in Germany, for example, maybe you know the Oktoberfest, the biggest Volksfest, what's that thing in the world? Beer festival in the world, maybe. And there they have stark beer, which means strong beer, which is usually beer, I think it's around 6, and this may be 9 or so %. So it's stronger, and this happens, so, oh, battery went off. I hope this one is still fine. Anyway, let me crank this up. So usually you put the camera on the side that is not lit stronger. That's why the strong light is there, the not so strong light here. So you have a little bit of the shadow side that looks then more cinematic. But no, it's not. It's the other way. Yeah, so we have fasting, right? Christians fast for 40 days. And the monks were not allowed to drink so much during that period. So what did they do? They made the beer stronger, and that's strong beer, stark beer. Patrick says, yes, nice. Dramatic lighting effects. Yeah, exactly. Intimate stream light. Right, let me get the light in the back. Then we have a little bit more effects. Wait. No. Well, no. Here, I like this one. Fire. But yeah, I actually want to use it to have more light. Like this maybe. But where should I put it? Sa. Does that help? Maybe not. Well then, anyway. Sneaky monks, yeah. Intimate streamlight, yeah. Yeah, now it's standing on the table, which is too low. Actually, it's like should be like eye level, and it's like down here. So probably it's a little bit up. So you see where the shadow is coming from. So that direction is the light. Even though I'm German, I didn't start to drink to like beer until I came to Japan, because the cool climate in Germany doesn't make me want to drink beer. Oh, interesting. The hot climate in Japan makes me want to drink more. Actually, the same for me. So I never liked beer a lot. I had it for like social requirements and so on, Oktoberfest and things like that. But it was never my favorite. I prefer like hard alcohol also, but then not a lot. But here, yeah, sometimes really good. Summer. Especially in Nagano, my experience at least is Tokyo, it's hot in summer, 24 hours. But Nagano, it's still hot during the day, but at night it still chills down a little bit. So then it's even nicer to have like, you had the super hot day and then it's chiller, kind of, your body can get a little bit out of, like, can get some heat out, cool down, and then you have maybe a cool beer and support that. Very nice. Sneaky monks. Yeah. I remember in Germany, many places would have people walking by with trays of small 200 milliliter glasses of beer and constantly replace empty glasses, marking your cardboard coaster with a pen to keep track. Yeah, that's probably like Cologne or so, where they have smaller beer. Where I'm from, Bavaria, the small beer is half a liter. Or usually you wouldn't say the small beer, you would say half a liter, ein halbes. And then if somebody says a big beer, then then immediately know you're not from here, and then they say, well, you want a liter or half a liter? Like, oh yeah, a half. And then the Bavarians are like, big, you're not from here. Go away. Where was I? In Germany, I rather drink water, tea, and coffee. Yeah, I also rather, usually. But I must say, tonight, this German beer, again, was very nice. You put the coaster on top to indicate you're done drinking. Oh. Yeah, I think they have like 10 or so in like a circle. I'm actually, I was born in this city in Cologne, but I went for the south when I was 10 months. Not I, but my family. And I don't like, or I haven't had this kind of beer in a long time. Johannes, St. Sixtus Abbey in West Flandern, makes this exclusive beer made by only 19 Trappist monks. There we go. So, there you go. So if you want to taste what seems to be the best beer in the world, then that's the one. Speaking of best in the world, there's also the best whiskey in the world. It comes from Japan, I think. I don't know if it's the one, but here in the liquor shop next to it, they have a Japanese whiskey for $500. This might be the one. If I would ever buy that, I don't know if you could drink that, because the price has risen a lot. So it would be maybe a valid investment, but still, it may be tempting as well. If you have a party anyway at your house and then, oh, we have nothing to drink left to drink, huh? What should we have? This looks nice. What camera do you use for the stream? The quality is really good. This stream is on a GH5, so Panasonic GH5, and it's connected to some kind of converter thing so it has HDMI output converted into USB, and then goes into the computer, and the computer recognizes it as a webcam. The Hitchcock lighting, yeah, like from below. Yeah, ideally it would be something like Rembrandt. That means more from that side, and then you have like a small triangle on this area here of light, and the rest is more shadow, or at least not as bright. That gives a lot of character and depth. then, is there any indication on when Japan is going to allow foreigners to visit? I had to repeat that visit because visit and visit. Usually Germans say visit. Funny enough, because in German we only have the v but not the v. And that's why we always say v. Because we don't know there too. Yeah, that's why I sometimes have to correct myself. To visit. About to get my second Moderna shot on Thursday and I'm dying for some karage. Ha! If that's the only reason, Google how to make karage. But seriously, I don't know. Of course I don't know. So here it's going very slowly so far with the vaccination. I hope it will be opening again around the end of the year. Half a liter, wow. I don't think I could handle more than one of those now. I've become weak in my old age. Yeah, old age. Us old guys, ne? Yeah, me too. I mean, like one beer and I really feel it. Then again, it's like a very steep increase and like, wow. And then it's kind of not as steep. But still, compared to my young days when my body was like more tolerant and I was more into training, then maybe this was easier. But still, I could never, like some people are like 5, 7 of those 1 liter things at the Oktoberfest. Like, I would be in the hospital like 5 times. Yeah. But also, yeah, half a liter of that, probably it's enough. Or like maybe two half liters. 10-month-old, you like beer serving sizes too small here in Cologne. I moved to Bavaria. Yeah, god damn it. Can't live like that. That's exactly what would happen to it. Drinking the $500 bottle when you're already half in the bag. Exactly. And you next day you wake up and like, did I? And if so, how did it taste? Oh no. 10 years ago I probably would have tried though. Yeah. Don't you say immer weiter with hard V? Weiter. Yeah, exactly. We have the V sound and we don't have the W sound. And for some reason, that's why we always say the W sound in English. How old are your correspondents here? You are 34, I'm 75. How about them? Well then, gentlemen, ladies, if there are any. I don't know, actually. I know Andy is also 34. Same year. I don't know about the others. Yeah, there you go. Andy. 34. Daniel's about the same age as me. I see. Obviously not the only reason I want to visit. We first came to Japan for honeymoon. Oh, nice. In June 2018. Now we want to visit for the other 3 seasons, starting with spring Hanami season. Okay. I mean, that could work next year, maybe. This year it was exceptionally early, I think, the earliest ever. But of course, if you come roughly in the middle or so, you can always travel up or down and go to wherever it is. Eminox 44, Sorin Topala is 29, Ricardo is 31. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I get messages from people that like finishing school soon. That's really like, wow, so people that young watch my content. Or people that young are already like have made up their mind that and found they want to live in Japan. I would have never at that age considered anything remotely like that. Oh, we're going pretty long today, yeah? Already 2 hours 40 minutes almost. Anyway, that's probably the longest it's been ever. Drop the I'm old talk, Johannes. Yeah, I know. Now when I see people that are like 20 or so or 18, I'm like, those really are still kids. Like, look at them, this baby faces, God. Because of course the face I'm most used to is like my wife, me, and so on. I'm like, yeah, that's normal. But your perspective changes kind of, or it doesn't, and everybody else. Anyway, yeah, now I'm old. Not really, probably. I think middle age starts at 35 or so. I don't know. In Germany we say beginning of 30, which is probably until 33, and then the beginning of the middle of 30, so Anfang Mitte 30. So now I'm beginning of the middle. But anyway, just a number, right? Also, I mean, the alternative to getting older would be to die, so it's good, it's fine. I take that. My little girl watched you with me this morning and she is 36. Oh, nice. That's nice. I love that when people say like they watch it with their family. Sometimes my family writes me after that and like, yeah, we did a live viewing session, like 10 people. Like, we are making history, boys. Yeah, almost 3 hours. Different games is 24, almost 25. Nice. So you also have, maybe your birthday is also in May. Who knows? Old is only a number, not a medical condition. I think aged like fine cheese or beer or art. Haha, yeah. You are like a fine wine or cheese, richer, fuller, and more smelly. Yeah, that's probably true. And still, I mean, also for me to enjoy certain things with character, be it like more smoky whiskey or wine or anything, it also takes time and like matureness, you know. So it comes with age. Anyway, as if I was so experienced. I mean, still, for the majority of my life, I was not an adult. When you're mid-30s, you wake up with backache and stuff. Have to work harder to maintain weight. Can't stay up as late. Takes longer to heal. Getting old. Yeah. I mean, it takes longer to heal. I don't know, because I don't know, accidentally cut my finger off or so. Not yet. But yeah, backache sometimes happens, especially with kids when they jump on you and so on. Or they come onto your futon and push you or kick you. Yeah. Maintenance, yeah. Maintain weight. I think I never had so much issue with that, except for when I really work too much and focus on that, and then just eat and sit all the time. No, so far. Too funny that, says Patrick. Yes. I like it. If you're watching as a group, make sure to open the video stream on multiple devices to give Johannes all the views he deserves. Thank you, Sorin. I'd say when you turn 30, you'll get a permanent random debuff. Is it your birthday today? I just saw the title. It was yesterday, actually. But kind of today then. Almost today. Good analogy. Hi Tani, yeah. Yeah, and then 40 and so on, right? Yeah, I think I was definitely, when I was training, probably I could gain muscle or so easier, like 5-10 years ago, most likely, but it's still fine, you know. Now the experience is still on, it's still at a level where you can perform physically on a level that's good enough that your experience can make up for that, I feel. It went from beer to age. What a chat. What a conversation you have. When you turn 30, you start to suffer from the technical debt of the choices you made in your 20s. Yeah, certainly. And probably then will be the same for your 40s and so on. Please everyone, press the thumb up button. Only 3 have done so and there are 15 plus watching this. Oh really? Only 3. I can't see it in this program. Yeah, would be very appreciated, of course. I could burn fat way quicker when I was below 30. Alles Gute from somewhere, right? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Corona-chan definitely killed my waistline. Ha! Can't wait to return to normal life. But due to the rising numbers in Sapporo, that probably will not happen soon. Andy sees 28 likes. Okay. Yeah, I actually had a little bit of weight. I feel like, especially in Yokohama, because of work and so on. But then I got this disease that happened to me. That caused me to lose like 10% of my weight. So that was that. And then I just maintained it there. And also I've thought like, okay, if like now this year I will be the healthiest ever, maybe. And so if I go to a certain level where I feel good, then I start working out again, so on. And then one day I just said, fuck it, let's do it anyway, even though I feel not super great. And now I work out like 4 times a week since then. Missed 1 week so far, in which I only did 2, but other than that, always 4 times. And the first day I did that was January 31st, since then. But like calisthenics, I guess, body weight, inside, not outside or so. I'd like to know why you do your videos in English. I do them in English because of this, this international community that is there, which is much wider than the German one. I did consider, and I still do consider every now and then, to make a German channel as well. Probably not exactly the same topics, but kind of different. Probably I can be more specific about cultural differences and so on. But yeah, I haven't. I actually did make 2 videos for this. I created the channel, made 2 videos for that, but didn't publish them because I wanted to have like at least, since this would be an experiment, that people that subscribe at least have something to look forward to that's safe. So I want to have 5 videos to be recorded, produced, uploaded. But it never happened. Only 2. And there was that. But now every now and then, for example, a little earlier, another German creator was here. And when I see that, I'm like, yeah, it would be nice to have like this kind of very focused community as well. But then again, there's only so much time we all have. And currently it works out with 1 channel in English. I'd like to... what's the worst grade you got on your annual Japanese health check? Not sure. Last time I had a B. I forgot why. I didn't even check why. But everything A and one thing was a B. Probably B. I think I never had a C. Yeah. I don't remember why. Maybe it was ice or something. Or waistline, who knows? The US is the 3rd largest country in the world. English represents a pretty high viewership. Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, even for countries that don't have English as their first language, like German, many people, like probably somewhere right, also understand it. So that's another thing. So, not bad. And did it matter to you in any way? No. Maybe for me, like, why? I'm healthy. I need to have an A. Yeah. That being said, so this disease I have cannot be recognized by the standard health check they do. But I think when at 35 to do an extensive one, then probably I would be like an F. Yes. Not to mention all the people outside the US that speak English. Yeah, exactly. When you're yet to turn 30, you are made from rubber and lined with asbestos. You could live on alcohol and junk and survive without issues. After 40, sleeping can hurt you. Yeah, I guess. I mean, maintain, stretch, make sure you move your body in all the possible ways it was built to move in and then, be healthy, enjoy. Plus, so many German people speak great English now. Yeah. I think so too. C for Andy as well. Oh no. What is an annual health check? So in Japan, employees have to have a health check every year. And that's that. Bigger companies will do it in their companies, and otherwise you go to a doctor. And they do like take your blood, measure how, like your BMI, body mass index. What was there? What else was there? So things like that. Take like X-rays, I think, of your chest, and so on. Measure your waistline. I think if you're over 90, maybe you're like too fat. I don't know. I need to have an A. Johannes shows his competitive German side. Yes. I want to have an A without doing anything for that. Make sure you don't move your body in any way it wasn't meant to be moved. Yeah, that's also a good point. That's also good for your health. Yeah, don't overdo it. I mean, certainly, again, when you're younger, then maybe maybe able to tolerate this and that, but yeah. Japan's health check bases foreigners on standard to Japanese, though. Yeah. Everybody's same. Probably if you Google that, you find like a list, like men are allowed to have this BMI and this waistline, and women like this. I think women a little more. I want to have an A without doing anything for that. And there's his American side. Yeah, that's how I did it in school. Never learn and sometimes get a good grade, and sometimes not. Depending if the topic was interesting or not. Americans would more often do worse on Japanese health checks. Yeah, maybe, probably. I mean, if they're on the heavy side. Of course, they're also like, big dudes that are, or ladies, that are muscular, and that's why they're heavy and have a big BMI or high BMI. But anyway. Should we complete the 3 hours and then maybe call it a night? Then it will be already tomorrow here. So 8 minutes, maybe. Already more people are leaving now, so maybe would be a good timing. Most passable result with the least amount of effort. That's German efficiency. Yeah. But we're in Japan, so we want perfection. And we give our lives for that. As in spend our lives striving for it. Perfect body, weight, things. What else do? They do, I think, they check your eyes, maybe they look in your mouth or so. I forgot. I don't know what it's called in English. Urine check, things like that. So kind of basic measures. And when you're 35, it's more. Then it's got a little bit. You have to drink some. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'm not looking forward to any of that. There will be time for bed for me. Perfect time. Yeah, also for me slowly. Yeah, blood test. Yeah, things like that. Love blood tests. But the Asian BMI calculation is, I think, different from the Western calculation because Asians are much more susceptible to diabetes due to obesity. Normal in the West can be overweight in Japan. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the calculation is probably the same, but maybe the range they have is different. But I'm always okay, so I don't think so. I was on the lower end when I was younger, or close to underweight, and now I'm just normal. This is fun. We talked cameras, tourism, Europe, age, health, beer also. Birthdays, beer, bread, and much more, yeah. Of course, also like Japan and the thing I traveled to, and then we had Andy, another YouTuber visiting. We had Ein Ticket zur Milchstraße, another German YouTuber visiting. So yeah, great stream, I think. And we had a lot of very generous donations. And one day I will manage to have this on-screen display of how many donations and then reach a goal and so on, and have it be connected to the super chats. Johannes not so scheduled topics. Yeah. I mean, today I had a couple of things lined up. Like I had this fantastic, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, prepared. Went to the 100 yen store before. Maybe I should go to the front. Maybe not. Thing. Then we had this cracker here, which put out this stuff. Can also put this here. And we opened something I purchased today, Ochoko, sake cup. We talked about beer, as we said. I had figs I bought also in this place I went to. Fantastic. Could it be any better? It's hard to top. It's hard. $100 well spent. Yes. And this one. I mean, this one will probably be reused for ages until we move and we say, what's that? Why do we need that? Let's throw it away. But this one was probably not so well spent because like one time and then it's gone. Yeah, I also wanted to have like one of these, you know. You know that, but I didn't find any. Now we can talk about unicorns. Oh yeah, unicorn. There's just sexy looking Johannes. There you go. Absolutely. I mean, that's that's as sexy as it gets when you're 34. A little painful maybe with this gum here. This, do you say gum? This rubber, that's the word. Rubber band. But maybe then it also fits my children. Almost time to go, it seems. Have a nice night. Thank you, Daniel. You too. Yeah, almost time. 2 minutes. Then we will be, for the first time ever, at 3 hours. Here's to 34 times 2 more. That will be a long time. It will be 102. Let's see. The rubber is not made for German heads. Yeah. Yes. Beer. Enough for now. Enough beer. So here, this beer is 0.3. A third of a liter. 0.33. Just fine. Anything that's more is like already too much. Okay, Aminox also gotta go. Thank you for a fun evening. Thank you for being here again. And yeah, thank you everybody for your kindness and sharing your money and time. Wow, Daniel, yet another last minute super chat. Thank you so much. Again and again. Yeah, it's really, what's the word? Humbling to have you all here and to have your support. Enough beer. We are trying to reach 102 with a perfect A. Okay. Enough of that. I think that's a perfect goal for the end. Have a blessed day. Yes, Patrick, you too. Thank you. And auf Wiedersehen, yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Got to support your favorite YouTubers. Thank you. All right, then it's time. 3 hours now, 3 hours and 5 seconds. So all that are still here, all the 14 of you, thank you so much. I hope you will have a great night or day. Sleep well if you're here in this side of the world, Japan, Australia, and so on. And see you again next week. So thank you a lot. Especially, of course, for the many generous donations we had tonight. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And